when we last did the Beach database, the Beach review database, we will notice that the table that was left is healthy at the moment. So basically each row is quite unique. So there is no data redundancy further to consider. So this table is okay. The other tables that we created, for instance the volunteer table down here, row 1 repeats twice, as well as row 3 repeats twice, and row 5 repeats twice down here. Here we have the same phenomenon. So we have row 1 repeating twice, row 3 repeating twice, and this repeating as well. So there is this phenomenon still to consider. So basically I'm going to take away the repeating rows and we take it from there. This is to make the data in each row atomic. The word is atomic. Let me just type it here. Atomic, meaning individual. Our rows are not atomic, they are repeating. Atomic, I repeat, means individual. Let's deal with these repeating rows. So as we said, this table is okay. So let's deal with these 3 tables down here. So we fixed the volunteer table, and now we fixed the beach table. We have another repeat here, so let's take it away. And here we have beach ID 1, 2, 3 and district. So here we have our 4 tables. We're looking for keys. Each table must have a primary key. The primary key is individual per row, so it doesn't repeat. Now the primary key is usually labeled with the initials ID. So now let's start with the 3 bottom tables. Let's look at the field names. Is there the initials ID, identification, on any of the fields? On volunteer? Yes, we have it here. Volunteer ID should be the primary key for the volunteer table. So let's just label that PK. The primary key. The beach ID, obviously there is an ID on the beach, primary key, and district, primary key, for the same reasons. Let's test them now. Under the primary key, is the data unique? Yes, it is 1 and 2. Here as well, 1. Each row is identified correctly with a primary key. As well here, volunteer here was moved to the district table because each volunteer is assigned to a district, and we moved it from this table. If you forgot why we have volunteer ID here, reference the scenario in lesson 2, and it's basically mentioned at the end of lesson 2. Volunteer ID here shows Boroughside, and here it shows North End. It should have shown the same district name, but it doesn't. This is not the primary key of the table. The primary key is this. So what you have to understand is that the primary key identifies uniquely each row. So here you have 1 for row 1, 2 for row 2, 3 for row 3. That is the primary key. The volunteer ID was initially left in the original table and then moved to the district table. The copy of each of the ideas that were left over in the original table are called not primary keys but foreign keys. So basically there you have a foreign key. So the leftovers, when we move the primary keys to the other tables, the beach ID left its copy here. That is another foreign key. When we moved the district ID to another table, it left a clone here. So refer back to lesson 1 and 2 to remember this, leaving back a copy of themselves, the IDs. So these are called foreign keys. Another way to remember with foreign keys is basically it's an ID that is being left over from moving another ID. It is a foreigner in that table. We call it foreign key. So we have 3 foreign keys so far. We will see that the review table up here doesn't really have an ID. That's now the next thing to do. In lesson 4, I will explain about primary keys for this situation here, like in the review table that we have here.